Good morning, everyone. I'm getting started a little bit later, but I was in need of sleep after last night's storm. It literally rained for 8 hours straight, with two major fronts go by, two red on the radar bands that went by. I got a little bit of water in the tent because of the vent they put on the sides, but not too bad. It was exciting. The second wave was bad enough that I actually got up and got fully dressed and ready to run out if I had to. Some of the gusts were pretty big. I was holding the tent at one spot because the wind was pushing it in about 1.5 feet, and I was holding it. Anyhow, whatever we encounter in our life, you just have to be ready to stand your ground. And that goes for God too. If you get into a situation where you're confronted as a Christian, that doesn't mean to get into a fight with people. I'm just saying sometimes you just need to stand your ground. Let God deal with it. We're going to be seeing, I've talked about, I think in the last video, we're going to be seeing a lot of repeat of the 1st and 2nd century coming up. How much of it are we going to see? I don't know, but the world is continuing to march towards this end time goal. The end time goal of removing Christians and setting up the harlot. I might end up on a steady theme here because it's getting bad enough that we have to really pay attention. I hope we don't go back into another big C lockdown again, but anything's possible. They're doing that in China. China would be considered the world's largest prison camp right now. They're under full measures that they did back when it first appeared. And whether this stuff is real or made up, doesn't matter. The outcome's the same. In a totalitarian government, whatever they say goes. It doesn't matter whether it's right, wrong, accurate or not. We're not quite there yet with our government, but we're pretty close. Government of the United States. They're pretty much done with their digital currency test. So at some point in time, I expect that to go live. It's not a jump to be taken lightly. They've got a lot of things to do to still prep for it, which they may have already done in the background that we just don't know about. More than likely, they're going to tank the dollar. It's going to be worthless. They're going to give you, and I use that word give with the proper connotation, they're going to give you some digital currency that you can use to live off of. That would be the way to get everybody on it. The digital currency is not the mark of the beast, so don't worry about it. Even if they give you a number, it's not. In order to be subject to the mark of the beast, one, you would have had to have missed the rapture, because we won't be here for that. The core Christians won't be here. Those that were sitting on the fence couldn't make up their mind or had a wrong belief that they were falling into, that are going to continue into the tribulation. They're the ones that have to make up that decision. But it's a swearing of an allegiance to the beast. It's got nothing to do with anything else. You know, people in the past have said the mark of the beast is Social Security, or it's something else, anything. Social Security number that you have to have. Your driver's license number, whatever. Whatever they think that they've come up with. They're guessing, and every time you've got somebody out there guessing, and they're blatantly wrong, and they're talking so fervently about it, it waters down the truth. Makes it harder to follow the truth when it finally does come out. So please stop guessing. There's some things right now that I'm trying to reconcile in our standard end time narrative. We've still got everything coming to us that we've talked about. Some of the timing issues that we've talked about, I've got a problem with a couple of them. The rapture is going to happen before it gets bad. Just understand that. Really bad. I just survived a storm that was really bad. But there were no tornadoes in it here. And I'm going about my business. So we survived the storm, and I'm about my business today doing this. We're going to continue to see that. We've still got an increase in earthquakes. And they don't want you to know that there's an increase in earthquakes, so they're doing their best to downplay them. Seems like every major earthquake comes out with a high number to start off with, and then next thing you know, it's reduced by 1 or 2 or 3, whatever they can get away with. They don't want you to think that there's a problem. Why? Because they don't want you to think that we're in the end times. They don't want you waiting for God. They want you being afraid and calling on the government, oh, please save me. Our little creek here that I went by in one of my other videos is really running pretty fast. I think the video before this, my taking a rest video, I had to put that out of sequence because of things going on. I wanted the one that was supposed to be after it, I put it first. We got to be ready to fight. We got to be ready to handle this. And again, I mean, fight with the Spirit. I don't mean going out and getting into fist fights. We're not fighting a human war, although there's plenty of human wars going on. That's why we were told wars and rumors of wars. And pestilence. We're going to still continue to see that. That just gives them control. They could have quarantined the people that are hot in China, but no, they locked it down. We may end up seeing another Tiananmen Square massacre. One, the harlot wants to reduce the population, and two, China's done it before. That's how they stay in power. The people don't want them in power. And they know it. That's why they have to use force. Any dictatorship, any communist country can't maintain power, and people are not flocking to these countries. They're flocking to the United States because we have, quote, freedom. Well, we've had it. We're losing it fast. Every day we lose something. I think I saw where they got that marriage bill passed. And I don't know how they did that because they didn't have the votes. I'm almost out of download I've got 100 gig on my internet box, and I'm within 90% or less of going over my limit, and then they throttle the account. So I haven't really been able to go on and do a whole lot of investigating. But if they pass that, that basically changes the definition of marriage to allow gay marriage, the full protection under the law. What was that, a beaver? Wasn't a turtle. Turtle jumping off a log would go kaplunk. That one slipped into the water and it was furry. See, I'm right next to the lake again, and there's the log. Now they can hold their breath for a long time, so I'm not going to wait for it to come up. Keep walking. So there's a lot of things coming up that we may have to survive our way through. I've told you to prep for a little while. Don't go build a bomb shelter. Don't go, give yourself 10 years worth of food prep. But I would have at least a month or two. You say you don't have the money to buy that. Well, you don't buy it all at once. You buy it a little bit at a time. Every time you go to the market, and you buy something that you like, especially if it's on sale. Buy 2 or 3. It's got to be things that you will eat normally. If you don't like sardines, don't go buy a case of sardines. I like some sardines. It depends on which type and how big they are. Just had some ducks over here on the bank, and they're swimming away. It's hard to see in the reverse. Well, I've still got clouds in the skies. And I see some that could still be rain clouds, but they're not here. They're further to the east of where I'm at, so I should be okay. The hunt should be over back at my old park. But I'm here until Saturday, I think. With my setup, it's too much trouble to move every day. Yeah, got a bird above me. I know that this park is surrounded by town. I can see homes through the trees. I couldn't see them the last time I was here because the trees were full of leaves. Find things that you can do. Relatively safe things. If you're not street smart, don't go out on the streets. At least not by yourself. If you want to volunteer, this is a time of the year where there will be plenty of places to volunteer. All the food banks will be needing help. Poor families that have to come to them for food will be doing that in droves. There will be Christmas meals served at various locations. You can help there too. You might even get to meet a celebrity or two who come and do the same thing. And they do things throughout the year, but they like to be able to help with a Christmas meal or something like that. Thanksgiving's over with. But we have Christmas coming up. I don't know, if I was Satan, I'd do something big on Christmas. I'm not giving you a date, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head, we're waiting on him. We're waiting on the world to be set up to push the button. I don't know who's going to push it, but somebody's going to push it. I have got to get a new selfie stick. My arm's getting tired because I have to hold this out. I have to hold my arm out like that to hold the selfie stick because I can't bend it. I should be able to just put the selfie stick out at an angle, but I can't move the phone. The phone's too big for this selfie stick. I've thought about going on Amazon and ordering it, but I don't know. I'm hearing all kinds of things about things. The last couple of things I ordered should have been, because I had Amazon Prime at the time, should have been next day, and I shouldn't have had to pay for shipping. And I ended up getting them a week later with some kind of a charge on it. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to play this game anymore. Well, I would love to sit on my swing and talk a little bit, but there's water underneath the swing. So I'll just keep walking. I'm walking around this lake. I've already been to the backside there and I'm coming back around. And I'm over somewhere over here. Right over the crest of that little hill there. So, within a few days we have a possible rail strike. They have made such an absurd change to the union rules that nobody in their right mind would accept it. And unions have been pretty good to the current administration, so it's surprising that they're doing it, but it's all part of their plan. If you remember, well, you probably don't because they don't teach history anymore, but Hitler befriended the media and he befriended the unions. And as soon as he got into power, he abolished the unions and took over the media, made it state-run. If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. Yeah, see, there's some dark clouds, but they're to my east, and I can feel the cold wind blowing across the lake behind me from here. It's blowing the storms out, and you can see the sky is clear back that way. So we're done with this for now. And these are coming up out of the Gulf. That's why there's so much moisture with them. These are not normal. You don't get a storm like this in December. You get a jet stream bringing cold down. Okay. Thanks for joining me on my walk. There's no place to sit outside and do a Bible study because everything's wet. So I'll try to get back on schedule on my next video. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.